I'll let you tell the story of the Cabbage Patch Kids.
Right, so you've got the Tartarian Empire wiped out. So we had lots of civil wars. We had lots of catastrophes considered to be natural, like fires and floods. We had famines and genocide, acts of genocide as well. So the population throughout the entire world has been dramatically reduced. The aim being, as you touched on earlier on, was to make out as if the indigenous people and black people were primitive, and that white people were the superior and dominant race that invented and created everything. So in order for that to actually work, they needed to repopulate. So the people with pale skin, they were killed or they were incarcerated. So you'll see after 1776, lots of prisons, asylums and orphanages open. Now, you could be considered insane because your husband died in battle. So let's say the Napoleonic Wars, millions of people are dead, and the civil wars, Russia in particular, you've got a lot of women, a lot of widows with children. Losing your husband in battle was one of the reasons you could be sectioned. The children become property of the state and they start shipping them around, but they need more. They've got to rebuild an infrastructure. These children are going to work on farms, they're going to mine, and then we're going to see the Industrial Revolution. So they're going to be working in factories and sweatshops. So how they go about that, it is alleged, is that they cloned a mass cloning exercise called the Cabbage Patch Babies. And this was spearheaded following a series of short films that were made by someone called Alice Guy Blache, a French pioneer filmmaker who brought out a film called The Cabbage Patch Fairy and then The Midwife to the Upper Classes. And this depicted, black and white movie, this depicted couples going and actually purchasing babies from cabbage patches, demonstrating that they were grown, and following old Slavic folklore that babies come from cabbages and you find them in the bottom of the garden. And so in plain sight, they're showing you a mass repopulation program. They were then sent through baby farms and through the orphan train movement and distributed all over the world. Some were sent to Australia from the UK. We're told that it was convicts that were sent. It wasn't. The cages are too small. The cages were child size, like puppy crates. So they distributed children throughout the world, and then all of a sudden they were put on display and classed as premature babies in all of the world's fairs and expositions throughout the world as well, and you could buy them. And one of the particular adverts that Dr. Martin Cooney, who started the incubator babies, was that we can grow a 9-month-old baby in 1 week. So they had some serious technology going there, and you could buy them. So children were being taken from their parents, redistributed throughout the world. This was also happening to indigenous children as well. Children were being brought over from Africa. Children were being taken from Native American tribes and families. And these weren't primitive by any stretch of the imagination. They were far more advanced than anybody realizes. So they repopulated. So the mass cloning exercise was called the Cabbage Patch Babies. And a series of postcards came out to promote that. They're also known as repopulation postcards. And that happened late 1800s, early 1900s. So there you go. It's a bit of a...
Wow, yeah. It's incredible. So, taking all these indigenous populations of children and then moving them around into different areas, different countries, just completely reseeding the planet, the new reset.
Yeah, in America alone, the orphan train movement, and this is what they state, so you can double this normally, but the official figure is 250 children were taken from orphanages in the streets of New York and distributed across the Midwest of America to work on farms and in mines. So you can double that to 500,000. We were then sending children from Russia, which was really the most heavily populated part of Tartaria, of the empire. Children from Russia were being sent all over the place. Ukraine, which was Crimea, all of the children from there were taken. So they'd go in, have a war, take the children, redistribute them, force them to speak English, change their surname, and give them a new historical narrative. This is what happened, this is where you're from, and you're imagining that. And if you didn't comply, you went to a re-education centre which was otherwise known as an asylum. And they had a lot of child asylums as well. So you've got to think all of these world fairs, the asylums, the prisons, and the orphanages all pop up at the same time, along with the Lunacy Act, just after all of the civil wars and the atrocities that occurred. And this all happened after 1776.
I never posted
Brainwashing and whitewashing exercise, and they have literally whitewashed history, made out that white people are superior, and that the white people were the true forefathers of America, and the people that had the capability and the intelligence to build these incredible structures. It's a lie. It's an absolute lie. It's the other way around, entirely the other way around.
Yeah,